Hello there, runnineers. It's Manny again, and I wanted to make these series of training videos. And thanks to you guys, because first of all, I love interacting with you guys, whether it be online and especially live. And a lot of people have been asking, questions about training videos. So I'm going to continue doing these throughout the summer, reaching the Halloween half marathon, and of course wine and dine right afterward. So we're going to get to that. But before we do, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, give it a thumbs up, and comment down below. I do a lot of these videos because of the comments, whether it be here, whether it be on social media, or when I see you guys at the parks. And yes, I'll be at the parks next week. I'm so excited about that also. But without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about today's topic. So last time I talked about base, and then off of your base, you're gonna be doing some different kinds of runs that are gonna be getting a little bit harder to do. And one of them that I really didn't think had a lot of misconception, and this is my fault, and this is any kind of experienced runner's fault, because we understand what speed work is. But when I started looking at that, because I started getting a lot of different questions, and I started looking at the programs, and I thought to myself, you know what? I can now understand how people can be a little bit confused on what they mean by speed work. What am I supposed to do? They just kind of say, run, faster, run this and stuff. But how do I know at what pace should I should go? So first off, I'm going to say this video is basically more for people for the 95+% of us who are just in the back, just trying to finish, have a good time, whether it be getting a little bit faster. In other words, the people that are really fast and elite, this is probably not the best video for you. I apologize for that. I don't mean any harm. It's just, you could get a little bit of tidbits here and there, but I'm pretty sure because you are faster, you're already doing this. So before we get into today's video, I wanted to talk a little bit, or show you, I should say, about a training program, because there's a bunch of training programs. You may be doing one with the club, you might be doing one online, you may be doing one through runDisney. So runDisney has one. Again, most of the ones that are online that you look at with the apps, they're pretty basic. Some of them are a little bit more just tailored to you. Of course, if you have a certified running coach with you, then you're going to get even more information. But before we get started, let's go ahead and take at the runDisney. We're going to take a look at the runDisney page, because there is some training programs. So let's take a quick look at that. So here we are at the runDisney page. You're going to click on training, which is the second tab, and the training programs. The Train with Success with Jeff Galloway. So you're going to be able to see this. It's going to have 5K, 10K, 10 miler, half. That's going to be for beginners. Experienced runners are going to have all the way up to challenges. And on the right hand side, you're going to see download, so it's going to give you the whole program. So what we're going to do is we're going to scroll back up, and we're going to look at one of these real quickly. So the 5K training program. So you'll notice there's going to be some information there. I'm not going to go over all of it, but on the right hand side, it's going to be in bold lettering. It's going to be basically the pacing. And over here to the bottom left hand side, we're going to see the magic mile. So you can go over this at your own pace, but the magic mile, we'll take a look at that a little bit more detail. So give me a moment here, and we will actually look at this. Magic mile is going to be something that you can go off of. It's not needed, but I think it's a good idea. So right here, on each successive magic mile, usually 2 weeks later, your mission is to beat the previous best time. So let's get right to speed work and what speed work is. So speed work are going to be shorter bursts. They're going to be shorter bursts that are going to make you feel uncomfortable. You're going to be going out of your comfort zone because you're going a little bit faster than usual. But there's a couple of reasons why we're doing this. Actually, more than a couple of reasons, but one of them is going to be that your legs are going to get in better shape. They're going to be better. They're going to be in shape to withstand what you're going to go through, so they're going to be able to run faster. Your lung capacity is going to go up. Your heart rate is going to be more efficient. So in other words, it's going to be able to pump blood to where it has to go, so that way you're more efficient, and that's a good thing. And also a really good side effect that speed training can do is you might lose some unwanted body fat. So a good question is going to be, how should I do this? So I thought an easy way to kind of explain what pace you should be at, or what pace you're striving to be at, is this. So for simplicity's sake, I'm gonna put out a scenario. So for this scenario, we're gonna be training for a 10K. We are going to set a goal pace of 14 minutes per mile. And we are going to set, again, this is just for simplicity's sake, a pace of 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. So we're gonna be doing a speed for 30 seconds, so running for 30 seconds, and then recovery walking for 30 seconds. So now I set the goal pace is going to be 14 minutes per mile pace. So if you do the math, and the reason I picked this is because it's easy math, and again, you could tailor it to your program. So for example, 14 minutes per mile pace, if my comfortable walking pace, which means I can walk at this pace and I'm okay, I'm not winded, I'm not bad, I can go on, and it's 16 minutes per mile pace, then for 30 seconds, then the other 30 seconds in order to get to the 14 minute per mile pace is going to be at 12 minute miles. So my jogging is going to have to get somewhere close to that 12 minute per mile pace in order for me to get to the goal pace of 14 minute per mile pace. So when I'm doing these intervals, the speed work, my goal is going to be that 30 seconds, let's say the 30 seconds that I'm doing, 20 seconds, whatever it is, I am going to be doing it close to about the 12 minute per mile pace. Now, I'm not going to get into it real deeply, but for example, if I change that to where I'm going to go a little bit faster, I want to run a little bit faster, so I'm going to be running a little bit more, so it's going to be a 45-15. That's going to be the ratio, so 45 seconds jogging, 15 seconds off. That means I can actually slow down, so maybe about 12 and a half minute per mile. And that will get me closer to that 14 minute per mile average, even if I keep it at the 16 minute per mile walk. So now this is not for everybody. This is just an example. You need to adjust as accordingly as possible because again, we are doing a Run Disney event. The uniqueness of this race or these runs are going to be that during the 10K, you're going to have about 5, maybe 6 character photos, places that you want to stop to take pictures, maybe go to the restroom, stop for some water. So there's going to be things that you gotta, work on, and we'll work on those in future videos. So, but right now, after the base, we're gonna start getting our lung capacity up, our legs in better shape, and we're gonna be doing a little bit of running, or faster running, I should say. Now, how can I do these, or how do I measure these? There's a few ways that you can measure these. Number one is you can actually put an app on your phone or on your watch if you have that connection. I know Jeff Galloway's app has this to where you can program it to 30 seconds. So 30 seconds you hear the beep, 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 and then 30 seconds beep, 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 and then you alternate. If you have run any of the Run Disney races before, you have probably seen it, and you're going to be seeing the Galloway Pacers, and they're going to be going, and we're running, and we're walking, but you hear the beep, beep, beep before. You see some people there. Running etiquette, remember the running etiquette, which we're going to do videos on running etiquette. Do not just stop just because the Galloway runners are stopping. You have to raise your hand, look over both of your shoulders. Before you do this, count to 3, and then you start slowing down. Do not just stop because it's the Galloway trainers. I know they get frustrated. I talk to them. They get frustrated because a lot of people just stop and they're trying to get them to, again, raise their hands. They want to do it. You want to have good etiquette. But we'll elaborate on a future video. Another way you can do this, because a lot of people, me included, do not like that beep, 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 having to listen to that all the time. And that's fine. Again, I can't judge because I know I don't like it. What I use is visuals. So I use visuals. I have the post along the streets. So what I do, or I have mile markers when I'm running in the park. So I have the mile markers and they're every quarter mile, sometimes a little bit less. But what I do is, for example, if I'm going to be equal, so I'm running on the streets and we might be able to see this. So I will pick 4 poles to run at a 12-minute pace. And then I will walk at a 16-minute pace for 2 of them. And then I continuously do that. I switch off like that. So if you look at that and you really, really time your mile, you're going to notice that you're going to be coming close to that 14-minute per mile pace. Another thing is track work. Track work, you can do that. It's measured. It's a 400-meter track. Most of them are, at least. And so you can do stuff like run a lap, keep it at 12 minutes per mile pace, and then you walk half a lap. Again, that's going to basically almost keep up with the ratios that you're doing, or hopefully keep up with the ratios that you're doing. So that way you can keep an even ratio, and you can look at what they refer to basically as a magic mile. And those magic miles should be getting better and better and better. So now you've been training and you've been doing some track work and you got it down to 14 minutes per mile pace. Does that mean it's going to translate to that's what you're going to do for a 10K? Not exactly. There's a lot of intangibles that you got to look at. For example, weather. So it could be humid, hot that morning. It could be raining. It could be different. I always suggest run in the worst weather no matter what. Slow down the pace if you have to. But what you're going to do is continue training in harsh weather, because that way you're going to be more set to go the day of the runs. At least you're going to get an idea of how close you can get to that 14 minute per mile pace. I'm always suggesting that if your pace is like the 15-minute mile, go down to 14-minute mile. If you're doing a 14-minute mile and you're pretty comfortable at that one, maybe go down to 13:45, 13:40, 13:30, so that way you know that you can continue getting a little bit better. Than the day of the run, it's your choice. You can slow it down to 14 minutes per mile, but you are comfortable with your pace. You know what you need to do in order to finish. Now, to me, a very important thing to do is write everything down in your journal. I've talked about journals before, and one of these days I'll show you what I do, but make sure that you put down when you're doing this speed work, these intervals, whatever they may be, put down the location where you did it, the temperature that you did it, how you felt, because again, especially if you didn't eat that morning or you ate something different that morning and you were better, you felt better, whatever it is, all this is going to come into play. But put it down to see how you're doing. Then a few weeks later, you can start looking to see if your times are getting a little bit better. That means that your wind is getting better, or if your times are getting better, that means that your lung capacity, your wind is getting better, your legs are getting more acclimated to running a little bit faster, and that's the goal. So that's it for inside, but what we're going to do is we're going to go outside and we're going to show you an example of what I mean by speed training, and we're going to do it. So let's go ahead and switch out my cap and put on my Magic Mile headband. Here we go, and we are going outside. Well, you can tell it's very cloudy, chances of rain. I don't think it's going to, but we don't know yet. But this is what I mean, come out here, because it is very, very humid. Yeah, come out here and do your runs no matter what. It's very humid. So I'm in the middle of my 30-second intervals where I'm running. So we're gonna look at the watch, just about 12 something, so I got to speed it up a little bit, because in this scenario, again, I'm trying to get to 12. When I'm downhill, it actually goes under 12, and my GPS is all over the place. I just sped up and it says 13, now it's back down to 12. So all right, so we're almost done with the 30 seconds. So now here we go, closer to 11:45. All right, so here we go to the 30 seconds. Now we're gonna slow it down, walk. But again, it's a power walk. For those of you who have ever seen my videos or have been with me in the back with the balloon ladies, they do a tremendous job. And man, 16-minute pace for them is nothing. I get tired, I have to jog. And so my pace is kind of settling right now. They just keep saying me 14 and a half. Could also be that it's overcast. There it goes. It's going back down, kind of balancing out. You can see it says like 15:20 right now. It's probably around that, maybe a little slower, but got to do this for like another 10 seconds and then I switch over. But you start getting the idea. And again, if you want to do it longer, you're going to go faster, whatever. But remember, the translation is going to be to race day, which I'm about to jog. All right, so translation's got to be race day, which means you got to be able to sustain it for 13.1 miles, 6.2 miles, 26.2 miles, 10 miler. 10K is not timed, so. All right, in a little bit we'll come back and check out the mile time-wise. If I haven't already said it, I start off with about a mile of just light jogs, walk to warm up. Once I get my warm up, then I start with my intervals. Then once I finish with my intervals, it's anywhere between a half a mile to a mile of cool down, depending on how I feel. We're about to hit second mile, so I slowed it down because I want to see what the pace is. 12:26, so close to the pace, the goal pace that we had. So you've seen, or I just showed you, the timed interval time speed work with the 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, how it works. But I want to show you something that I love to do, and this is the way I do my speed work. Started it years and years ago because I started hating looking at my watch and listening. See those right here, those poles? So here goes one. So what I do is I do the even run. So that's going to be one pole right there. I'm going to reach 4. And again, I pick up the pace to where I'm about 12, maybe a little bit faster, minute, mile. All right, there's number 2. And I'm going to do 4 of these. Then I'll walk 2 of these. But you can start seeing what I'm doing. My pace is, well, below 10 right now, so I gotta slow it down. But sometimes I just do that speed work, especially for short intervals, maybe a mile or 2, and I do it faster so that my legs and my lungs can get better. This is a tricky one because there's one next to each other. This is 3, but that's 3.1. I'm gonna go to 4, then I'm gonna walk. But here I go, a little bit faster. And if you continue doing these, I like doing these because I can measure out maybe in a few weeks, I'm feeling good and I want to get better. I can do 5, I can do 6, still keep the same 2. See how you recover, but only do it for a mile. And here's number 4. So right here, I always say finish line, and now we walk. But you get an idea of what to do. I hope this helps. Did this video, I decided to do it a little bit different. Do the explanation first, and then showing you during my run. So if you have any questions, please post them down below. Without further ado, create a magical day, create a magical run, as I'm doing right now. And guys, see you sooner than later. Boy, is it humid.